Good morning. I'm waiting for Miss Deadwyler to join us as we get started on her pre-conference.
Go ahead. I need you in room 213, Miss Scott.
Hello.
Good morning, Miss Deadwyler.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for joining me. So today we are doing your pre-conference as we begin our coaching cycle. Before we get started, I just wanted you to kind of share with me as it relates to instructional strategies and differentiation. What are some of your strengths as a teacher?
Hold on for 1 second. I'm so sorry. Hold on for 1 second. Here. They're behind the door in a Ziploc bag. Okay. Sorry about that. Loaning out something. Okay. So you said, what are some of my strengths as it relates to?
Instructional strategies and differentiated instruction.
Um, Some of my strengths really just include gathering resources for, I guess, not so much small group, but just meeting the needs of all learners. So really getting to know the kids, find out what their interests are, what are some of the things that keeps them engaged in learning, and incorporating those things into the lessons to make sure that I'm meeting their interests and their learning needs.
Okay. And what would be some areas that you would like to improve on?
Um, Time management as it relates to just making sure I actually follow my schedule. Allot a certain amount of time for each task to make sure I'm hitting everything, to make sure we're spending enough time on each thing and maximizing instructional time.
Okay. Well, I came in your room the other day, and I must say that I did enjoy your lesson, which was my initial observation. You were doing your phonics lesson, and you were going through having the students with the Imagine It phonics band. You had them reading line one, line two, and line three. So tell me a little bit more about your daily routine as it relates to your phonics instruction.
Okay, so daily I go through the daily news. I read it first, and then I have my students read the daily news, which it's not really a paragraph, but it can be sometimes 2 to 3 sentences, 3 or 4 sentences. It usually contains the spelling patterns and the sounds that we're working on for the week. Once I read it fluently, and then I have my students read it, then we become investigators, and I have the students search for the words that contain the spelling patterns that we're going over. And then when I hit the actual phonics band, I go over the sound. So let's just say this week we're working on AW and OW. So AW makes the all sound. So I would say all, and then my kids would say all. And then I'll read the first line. Then they'll read the first line, and then they'll read the first line backwards. And then we go through each line that way. And then those sentences that are at the bottom, I'll read them first. And my students read them afterwards. And then I'm thinking of a word, and they repeat me. She's thinking of a word. Then I will just say, let's just say one of the words is hawk. And I may say, I'm thinking of a word. This word is a science related word. This word is an animal. It has the AW spelling pattern. And they may say hawk. Or they could say, anything, identify any of the words. They could be right or wrong. And then I have them use a word of choice containing those spelling patterns in the sentence.
Okay.
And generally, I'll go through that phonics band.
Okay, and yes, we did observe you doing those things when I came into your class the other day. The only suggestion that I would probably have is that as you're going through the sounds, to kind of point to each sound. So I think the word was saw. And so you read the line saw and whatever the other words were, but maybe pointing to them so they can understand the spelling pattern. So saw, so they can kind of see how it kind of like all goes together as they're going through the words. I know that they're second graders, and this is actually the last time that they'll have direct phonics instruction. So we just want to kind of make sure that they are really being able to grasp those sound spellings as they go through the phonics lesson.
Okay.
Um, so I kind of want to just go over like what the coaching cycle would look like. So our goal together is for us to you do a great job with delivering your instruction. You have really great rules and routines. How you have the students say she's thinking of a word. The students are engaged. It's just more with a little bit of consistency that our coaching cycle will be focused on so that these practices are consistently used. So tell me a little bit, what are your expectations of me? So basically I did the initial observation. We'll do a series of about 3 peer observations. We'll debrief. We'll meet weekly to talk about, your plans for the upcoming week, looking at the resources you have. I'll come in, I'll model, I'll co-teach with you, however you see fit, from week to week, whatever we determine the next steps are. So tell me a little bit about what are your expectations of this coaching cycle of me.
This was my first year teaching reading. So just making sure, and okay, so this is my first year teaching reading. Didn't I have any training outside of schooling on how to teach it? So I'm kind of basically winging it, but just making sure that I'm doing what I'm supposed to and that I am doing a great job at it. Um, Honestly, I don't know, but definitely to provide me with some insight, some strategies, best practices, things that, I can fine tune, just
Okay.
become better at. I mean, and if you model, modeling is great. Next week, we're supposed to end reading according to Imagine It. So I want my focus then to just be on developing comprehension skills. Like I told my students, I can't think for them, but I could teach them how to think. And some of the comprehension comes directly from the text. So just making sure they know how to, well, that they master comprehension in a sense. So
Okay.
ways we could do that.
Well, definitely sounds like so. Since we have had our pre-coaching conversation today, and we've already met about your initial observation, and we debriefed about that. The next step would be for me to come in and model a lesson for you, and then we will schedule our first peer observation either later this week or sometime next week. And so we'll kind of set purpose of what we're looking for. And so we know that instructional strategies is one of our areas of focus. So we'll probably go into a classroom and look for at least 1 or 2 instructional strategies that you can bring into your phonics routine. Because, like I said, you're already doing a really great job. We just want to make sure that those practices kind of remain consistent. Does that sound good?
Yes, ma'am.
All righty. Well, thank you so much for your time. And I will be seeing you later this week.
Okay.
Bye.
Well.